Welcome back, beautiful souls. I am so honored to share this human experience and walk this evolutionary path with you today. Remember, if a trigger arises during this reading, do not force it to fit and view that friction as a sacred blueprint for your personal healing and growth. Now, we are looking into what is coming next after this sudden redirection. So if you watched my last reading on divine timing and redirection, today we are taking the next step on your evolutionary journey to look at exactly what is coming next. If you didn't catch that reading, you'll find the link to that video down below in the description. So let's get into it and find out what is coming next after this sudden redirection, source. What is coming next for you, my fellow humans, after this sudden redirection? Okay, thank you. What is coming next after this sudden redirection? All right, pile one. What is coming next after this sudden redirection? That one right there. Thank you. All right, pile number two. What is coming next after this sudden redirection? Oh, cards are acting all hinky. What is coming next after this sudden redirection? I feel like it's this one right here. Yep, that's the one it felt like. All right, and pile number three. What is coming next after this sudden redirection? Pile three, what is coming next after this sudden redirection? Thank you, source. All right, so if you're hanging out with me, we're going to actually do our collective message. Then I am going to do our prayer to set the intention for the piles ahead if you'd like to hang out for that. And we will get into it. Now, if you are interested, this is pile one with our yellow Jasper. And our green dice with the planet Pluto on it. Okay. On pile two, we have this red Jasper. And we have this purple dice with the second house on it. And for pile three, we have this pink Rhodochrosite. We have this light green dice with Mercury on it for you to choose from. Okay. So we do have pile one, pile two, and pile three. If you're heading over to your reading, I will see you there. For those of you hanging out for the collective message, let's see what we've got on the bottom of the deck. Interesting. All right, so we've got antimony or stibus. This is the number 27 card. It's interesting because I do feel like this is, look, we've got Pluto up here and this looks like Venus in the reverse. So I do feel like this is a transformation for how you are viewing self-care, how you're viewing yourself also. But really what I feel with this is learning to trust your intuition, right? I'm going to actually take this off so we can just look at it. And with this outline of this looks like a wolf to me, this outline here, and that feels like something that's very instinctual, something that's where you're getting guidance, you're being a lot more fierce in your approach, you are changing the way that you are projecting yourself out into the world. But specifically when it comes to how you magnetize people, this is shifting greatly, right? What's happening after this redirect is that now you're suddenly attracting people who are in alignment with your journey, with your path, with your growth, and with your healing. These are people who are going to bring lessons, they're going to bring blessings, they're going to bring connections that are everlasting. And I feel like this is going to be a lot different than what you've experienced in the past, where you've been healing from the shadow and transforming yourself into reclaiming your internal power. And through that reclamation of your power, you're learning how to project a much more bold, vibrant aura out into this physical realm. And it's immediately attracting the right people. It's immediately attracting new people even into your life that you otherwise would have, you know, they would have passed you by, or they wouldn't have seen the value of you. But this all has to do with the energy that's coming from, I keep feeling the solar plexus here, this fiery energy coming from the solar plexus. And this feels like a true transformation. And when we think about our solar plexus chakra, the Manipura, it is the flame that stokes our purpose, the flame that stokes our lives. And oftentimes it's incredibly hard for us to pour coal onto that fire to get it to a raging flame so that we can move forward out of, if we're in a rut, or if we are going through something that is incredibly heavy, or if we're experiencing difficult times, it's hard for us to restoke that fire within us. And it feels like there's something after this redirection, after divine timings coming into play here, that is truly inspiring you to take that next step, that is truly helping you to grow in an enormous way that you recognize right away, right? This isn't that subtle, nuanced growth. This feels like something massive. Even if the shift was more nuanced, the way you're approaching things now is not. It's not nuanced. It's not subtle. It's if you will, it's very loud. But it's loud in the best possible way. It's like going out and playing a melody that everybody wants to hear. It's putting your light out there and people suddenly turning and seeing you as if for the first time. And they're like, oh my gosh, this is what I've missed all along. I didn't know that I needed you, but I need you and I want you in my life. And there might be times when you're actually turning people away, or when you are saying, you know, I just don't have the time, or I don't have the energy to give to you. And that makes them respect you all the more. It's showing that you're not diminishing your own self-worth or putting yourself on the back burner to appease others. And so it sets this deep emotional respect in motion for and towards you. And that's what I'm feeling here with this antimony card. So let's read this from the book and see what more it says here. All right, 27. Antimony. Yes, I love this. So the key words here are wildness, or wildness. It's wildness, fierceness, and hunger. It says, like many of the alchemy cards, the gray wolf can most easily be felt through the laboratory of the human body. Dance, run, shake, and breathe. Yeah, so it's a wolf. That's awesome. It says another interpretation of this material is that something is eating away or wearing away at the situation or person. Let this possibility open to a deeper revolution. And I feel like that's what was happening before. There was something that was eating away at you, and you finally just let go, or something clicked, or a light bulb moment happened where you realized that you had the power to move on from it, and you didn't have to keep identifying with that or keep holding on to it where it was creating a lot of dissonance on your journey. It says in medieval times, antimony became known as the gray wolf of alchemy. This was due to the metalloid's unpredictable qualities and its ability to eat away at materials in the laboratory. Gold is one of the few materials in the materials to withstand contact with it. For these reasons, this card must be read with delicacy. On one hand, it represents the wild and free spirit that longs to express itself in the world, and on the other hand, it represents a fierceness that can turn destructive or corrosive at the drop of a hat. The message is clear here. Channel the gray wolf's energy towards creativity. Challenge it to come out from the shadows and express itself. Embark on the creative project or adventure that's calling you, rather than focusing on why you can't. Once you begin, don't quit. Stoking the fires, that's what that feels like. Once you begin, don't quit. The gray wolf responds to respect, not repression. And that's something that came through really loudly as well, is that you're commanding respect now, and you're not repressing others, and no longer are you allowing others to repress you, no matter how they show up, right? So to go deeper, read Women Who Run with Wolves by Clarissa Pinkola Estes, or to ponder Corrosion as Medicine. Sometimes what happens is that we go through an incredibly caustic time in our lives in order for us to be reborn. It's like the eating away of the emotional ego, the eating away of our old past selves that had become accustomed to allowing or settling for certain things that were no longer in service to our higher good. And that eating away has brought you to this moment where now you get to make a choice on how you move forward. Are you going to hold on to an old way of being, or are you going to choose that something new and then just run with it and keep running with it without fear of where it's leading you, or without worry as to what's next, but just trusting that the next chapter in your life is a positive, profound, powerful experience that you're about to step into. And that's where this card is coming out as a collective message. And we have 27 coming through here, which when we add 2 and 7 is 9. And 9 is bringing something to a close, not yet closing the chapter, but 9 is that number where we actually are stepping into that threshold of the new beginning, right? So we're about to step through the gates. We're about to have the shift. We're about to let things go. And so that's what's happening now, is that up until this point, you've been really, truly walking through the steps, or going through the growth cycles, or going through the evolution and the glow up that has been necessary in order for you to truly trust that inner light that's coming in, and to trust that it knows where you want to go when you tell it what you're asking for. And now that transformation has truly allowed you to face the shadow, and through facing the shadow has allowed you to embrace a new powerful aspect of yourself. So I love this message for the collective. Truly, I love this message. All right, let us put these over here and get to our prayer. And I think I might turn on frequencies later, so you guys might have frequencies on your piles. I'm not sure yet. It's pretty quiet in here. I might just stick with the solitude and quiet. You know me, I go both ways, so. All right, let's open up with this. Okay, my beloved source, this prayer is for anyone and everyone that comes onto this reading, whether it's for a moment's time or the entire time. As we step into this new chapter of redirection with our lives and on our journey, sometimes it can be overwhelming as the unknown makes itself blatantly aware. And as we peer into that unknown, which appears like darkness, it truly is rather seeing it as space. Space for opportunity, space for abundance, space for our growth, space for our alignment. This is what I ask, is that you help us see that unknown not as something to fear, but as something to allow and embrace on the next step of our journey. We've gone through so much this past year, when most of us, I feel, believed that we thought this was going to be the year where we could put down the burdens and put down the harsh realities and put down the stagnancies and the overwhelms and the upsets. And while some of us were able to do that, many more of us still were caught in this non-ending cycle of hurt, pain, suffering, dealing with people who are challenging, dealing with situations that left us completely drained and feeling worthless, not knowing how to prioritize ourselves and our self-love and our self-care, not even knowing how to step away from self-sabotage. And with that, I ask that you remind us that we're going to have moments of ebb and flow, and this does not determine our entire character. These are but moments on our journey, moments that do not equate to the whole of who we are. And may we truly see these moments that we feel define us rather as a moment to breathe, to accept, to process, to be present with, and move from that idea that we have to identify with the good or the bad, and instead step into that empowered state of being the true observer of our journey, of our path. And may we make the decisions that align most with our highest good as we begin this new chapter on our journey. As these words are spoken onto this collective and upon this reading today, so shall they be. Amen. Aho. Ase. Thank you, thank you, thank you, my beloved source. Thank you. So let me get this set up over here. All right. Okay, I don't have any updates. Many of you that have been with me for an amount of time, I will just say this, is that you're noticing a lot of changes. And so I just want to reiterate, this is me being transparent. I've been transparent on the last few readings, but there are still more changes to come. And not in quality of readings, but just you'll notice differences that are coming through with the channel itself. And I just want to say thank you to everyone that has continued to be a part of this journey with me since the get-go, or from whatever time you've joined this amazing tribe that we're all a part of. And with that, I will see you over on whichever reading you've picked. Bye. Hello and welcome, my beautiful souls. I am honored to share this human experience and walk through this evolutionary path with you today. Remember that if a trigger arises during the reading, do not force it to fit, and view that friction as a sacred blueprint for your personal healing and growth. Also, quickly, this is what's coming next after this sudden redirection. If you watched my last reading on divine timing and redirection, today we're taking that next step into your evolutionary journey to look at exactly what is coming next. If you didn't catch that, you'll find the link in the description box below. So this is pile 1 for those of you that chose this beautiful yellow Jasper gemstone. Or if you happen to be drawn to this green dice with Pluto on it, or perhaps you checked out the shuffle at the very beginning and were drawn to this card, this is going to be that reading for you today. Let me grab my dice. All right, and let's get to it. So really quickly, we are going to start with the dice reading. Then we're going to get into the tarot, and then we'll move into confirmation and additional advice with the oracles. Okay, so what is coming after this sudden redirection for pile 1? What is coming after this sudden redirection for pile 1? All right, so wow, we've got the 12th house. We've got Pisces energy, and we've got Mercury coming out. This is a really powerful time for you. It feels like you're ready to express yourself spiritually in ways that maybe before you felt guilty. So an example would be like if you had differing viewpoints for spirituality or beliefs than your friends or your family, and it was really hard for you to express yourself to them, or express yourself even to people that maybe you met on the side of the on the side of the road, wherever you are, but out and about, like at the store or anything, or at work. Like it was really hard for you to share your spiritual beliefs or your spiritual self, right? The spiritual journey. This is the shift that's coming. What's happening is now this bravery in allowing you to speak with confidence and clarity about what you believe in. And no longer are you judging yourself. And because you're not judging yourself, you're not feeling or absorbing, I should say, absorbing that judgment from others, where it was really harsh, or you felt guilty because you didn't believe the same things, or there was a past where maybe you felt guilty because you felt like you were pushing a belief onto someone just by simply speaking your truth. And you're letting that go, and you're allowing your gift to show, and you're allowing your wisdom to show, and you're allowing yourself to be seen as a mystery. But even still, like through that mystery, you're still being seen as the truth of who you are. And that is the love that you radiate, the compassion that you have, the kindness that you are always giving to others, and the intuition that you're driven by, and this very elegant type of speak that you are bringing with your energy and with your presence towards others. So this is no longer like and the thing is like if you stuttered in saying, and you could have a stutter and that's fine, you know, whatever that is, but like if some of you stuttered to speak about what it was that you were, or you immediately felt shy, or you couldn't form the words, that's going away, or it's getting much less noticeable. So even if you do have a stutter, that's something that's becoming more leveled out on, and even if it's still present, like you're not judging yourself anymore for it, okay? And for those of you that couldn't form the words as to what it was you wanted to say, like you're not judging yourself, you're just saying it how it comes through, and trusting that the message is going to find the person it's meant to, or trusting that this is going to be exactly what it needs to be. And I don't need to roll this around in my mind 100 times and go down that really dark rabbit hole of wondering, well, would it have been better if I had said XYZ? Rather, now you're standing loud and proud in yourself and that energy that you have to give, that you have to offer. And people are absorbing you as someone who has a lot to offer. So they're starting to see your value. They're starting to see your intuition at play here. They're starting to see the reality that you are stepping with one foot in the divine, one foot in the physical, and you're able to speak about it at any given moment. And so if this is something that's been hard for you, this is what's changing after this redirection that you've been going through, is this ability to be free with who you are as an expression of self. So I did feel really called to using the Archangel Power Tarot today. So we're going to be getting messages from that. So let's find out some more. What is coming next after this sudden redirection for pile 1? What is coming next after this sudden redirection for pile 1? Source, what would you like to share with them today? Whoa, flying in. Yeah, confidence. The ability to take action for a cause, instinctively knowing just what to do, trusting your intuition, being charismatic, confident, enthusiastic, a lot of courage. Courage is the thing that's really standing out here for you today, pile 1, where once before maybe you felt shy, or you even, like, I keep getting this sense of like feeling guilty for just being you. And, you know, it doesn't have to be that, but that's something that's really strong that's standing out here. So that might only be for 1 or 2 people here, but there's this guilt of being yourself, or this fear of speaking about what you know, or this fear of sharing your reality, your truth. There's something along those lines that's coming through where you couldn't be confident and courageous in the way that you presented what you had to say, and that's shifting. And now you're realizing that you can be empowered too. Right? Yeah, Knight of Raphael. It's a lot of Knight energy here. We have, this is the Knight of Cups energy with romantic, dramatic, poetic, introspective, committed romantic relationships, being swept off your feet, situations or topics that make your heart flutter. See, okay, with the Knight of Cups, I'm getting this energy, right, with poetic. There's something that's very graceful that's shifting in the way that you're speaking, the way that you're translating something to other people. So whether that's your ideas, your thoughts, your opinions, your feelings, your experiences, all of these things together, one of them or a multitude of them, whatever it is, you're being much more forward with that energy, and you're not worrying about it. And there's a sense of self-love coming in where you realize like what you have to say matters, and who you are matters, and how it's coming across matters as well. Sorry, I'm moving the camera here just a tad bit. It's kind of all being wonky. And I feel like that's the thing. Yeah, straightening out after something that was crooked, right? Like something that was not working for you before. You're shifting away from that. And I feel like it has to do with the fear that you were feeling. Yeah, the King of Raphael, the King of Cups, warm, generous, honorable, and refined. refined, and justice, things balancing out. Oh my gosh, I love this. Yeah, so this is you seeing yourself through the eyes of unconditional love, right? You are realizing that you not giving up, even if you were stumbling, even if you were having a hard time. This could be expression of creative endeavors. So if you were creating something, an example would be you were writing a book and you kept struggling with maybe a certain chapter or a certain section of the book, and you were able to finally overcome the fear that you had with that section, whether that was just by scrapping it all together or actually just truly sitting down, writing it and forgetting about what you wrote about so that you could move to the next part. Or if this is like art, maybe you're an artist, you were drawing, you're trying to master hands, right? Like you're trying to master drawing a hand and nothing you did ever seemed to be right. And instead of trying to make it perfect, just embracing however it comes out and letting that be your expression right now. That's what this feels like. It's accepting yourself in this moment. With the King of Cups, we have, yes, it is safe to trust, the ability to accomplish many things at once and follow your creative passions. So there's something here where creatively you felt stunted or stifled, or as if you didn't have a leg to stand on, or if there was other people who were doing far better than you. But then you were wondering because you could look at it and say, well, I was doing really good with this, or, you know, I have a really good idea when it comes to that, whatever it may be. There's like comparison along with that as well. And just this fear that was arising with that and letting it go, whatever it is that you were working on, you're embracing the next part of your journey. So let's see if Source can give us a little bit more about what this is. Whoa. So, wow, we have the 9 of Coins just flying in. Okay. So this is abundance for you. Whether that's monetary or not, it's going to vary differently for each person, but it is something that's physical, feels like physical abundance. Feeling a sense of vitality, having a sense of excitement for the journey again, where maybe you've been feeling down, depressed, sad, overwhelmed, underwhelmed even, right? Like just feeling the heaviness of the journey. Things are shifting now. You're receiving messages. You're able to follow your intuition a lot more clearly. And you realizing that you never had to do this alone, that you had someone or something that you could rely on as a resource or a tool to help you out of. I keep hearing desperation, and it's not calling you desperate, but sometimes we hold on to certain ideas with a sense of desperation without realizing it. And so whatever it was that you might have been holding on to with a sense of desperation or a sense of fear that it wasn't going to come into your life, you have let that go, and that has changed your aura into this abundant receiver. Yeah, the Fool. Oh, I love this. The new chapter, a new beginning. And I love that that's coming out. And what's happening after this sudden redirection is a new chapter. And if you didn't catch the beginning, there's a prayer there that you might be interested in that might have some resonance for you. If you're interested, you'll find that timestamp below. But this is this new chapter that's coming into your life where you're now seeing yourself through eyes of success. Right? It's not just hoping and praying. I feel like sometimes with the manifestation journey, we are so stuck on hoping and praying that we'll be successful that we forget to see ourselves in that final idea of who we want to be. And so we're always skipping that visualization step or that imagination part of ourselves. And that's something that is so profound for any part of our journey, right? Is to still embrace that part of ourselves, that childlike nature within ourselves. And so I feel like that's something that you're re-embracing, is trusting that the vision that you have for yourself moving forward has the ability to bring opportunities, open doors, people, connections, whatever it is that you need in order to align with the path that is getting you to your desired outcome. What else would you like to share with pile number 1, Source? One more, please. What is coming next after this sudden redirection, Source? Yeah, it just really feels strong about this new direction, this new beginning. With the King of Wands, confidence. confidence. That's the main thing here. Really, if we had to break your reading into one word, pile 1, it would be confidence. Confidence where you didn't have it. Confidence where you felt like you were lacking. Confidence where you felt like you were comparing yourself even to other people. This is the justice for you on this journey, is having confidence. Even the new beginning with the Fool over the Knight of Wands, right? Confident and courageous, charismatic, enthusiastic. Those are also energies of the Knight of Kings. The Knight of Kings? The King of Wands. Yeah, so that's still energies here, is being confident, courageous, committed, passionate about what's next on your journey. On the bottom of the deck, wow, we have the Ace of Coins, a new beginning with something that is physical. It could be money, okay? It could be money, but I can't promise you that it is money. That's not something that I'm going to say it's absolutely monetary gain, because it's going to be vastly different for everybody. Not everybody's on here trying to manifest money. Maybe some people are on here trying to manifest a physical union, a physical friendship. Maybe they're trying to manifest a physical business or a physical job or a physical promotion or something like that. So whatever it is something that is, you can touch, taste, see, feel, and hear it. Like, this is something very, very much connected to the 3D realm, in the mundane, if you will. And it's a new beginning with that. And it's an offer that's coming direct from the divine, direct from source. Like, I've got you, I've got your back, don't worry about it. And I love this Ace of Coins because it takes up this whole card, much like the Tarot Marseille, which I normally read with. But it's showing this energy of, this is an overwhelming offer that is going to take you from where you were to something that you've wanted for a long time very quickly. Now, I'm not going to say it's going to happen tomorrow or next week or next month, but I am saying it's going to happen much quicker than you could imagine. Once the ball gets rolling, things are going to start moving very, very quickly. And I feel like you're going to be really excited about this. Like, I keep getting this sense of vitality coming back to you, where you were struggling to maybe wake up in the morning, or struggling to take care of yourself, or struggling just to find excitement in the things that once used to be exciting for you. It's like life seemed to take on this very gray tinge, and now things are coming back technicolor and they feel very vibrant. You feel very vibrant. You feel very good about where you're at. We have Libra energy flying out of the deck, and I feel like this goes hand in hand with justice. You could have Libra in the 11th house is coming in really strongly. You could have a stellium in Libra. You could have Libra in the 8th house as well. You could have Libra sun with a Pisces moon. That's coming in really strongly. Or Libra or Pisces and Mercury. Okay, and that's especially true for those of you that may have those placements. Okay, and if you don't, that's all right. But we have consideration, fairness, and harmony. This is a rebalancing of the justice and the karmic scales. So where things were very much balanced on the side that felt like against you, right? Like you against the world, or people ganging up on you, or people trying to deter you from your journey, or people trying to manipulate you, or situations that were heavy and too much for you to bear, but you felt like you were carrying them alone. Burdens on your shoulders that you didn't feel like were yours, but somehow you were stuck handling them and you were stuck taking care of it. Whatever it is, right? This is a balancing out of that. Things are now coming into balance for you, where the scales are tipping in your favor. Things are happening for you now. But this is more than just source coming in and waving some magic wand and changing things. This is actually an internal feeling that is being manifested into the physical world. So there's some sort of precipice that you've been on for some time, where that's where you were struggling at, is this, I'm struggling with embracing the new me in this reality. And so you're kind of going back and forth like this. This is what they're showing me. It's like a seesaw motion, where you're like, oh, I have to be the old version of myself. I'm not yet ready to embrace the new version. Oh, I'm ready to embrace the new version. And then you slide back over here, and you slide back, and you keep going back until finally it balances out. And when it balances out, it's not an overabundance of one or the other, right? You're not overly in your old self. You're not overly in your new self. You're embracing it seems neutral in itself, but what it is it's embracing a path where you no longer have to be like waking up in the morning and being like, oh my God, I'm so excited that today's here. Or waking up in the morning and being like, nobody knows. It's a really hard day. You know, it's more like, yes, I'm here, I'm ready, and I'm doing what I need to do. And so it's why it's balanced, is because it's not one side or the other. It's very much in this middle center place of being able to absorb the energy of what's coming to you and taking action as it flows to you. We have mutable energy here with Gemini, Virgo, Sag, and Pisces, with surrender, fluidity, and welcoming change. So already coming in with this change, right? We have a sudden redirection. You're surrendering, and that's allowing this change to flow into your life. A new sense of self is coming from this, but also just a new appreciation for who you are. Rather than just a new sense of self, just a new appreciation for who you are in this moment. Realizing you didn't really have to change anything. You just had to see yourself differently, right? Wow, so you could have your moon in Virgo. We have order. This feels like a reorganization of your emotions. That's what I'm feeling with this card here. It's like getting all your ducks in a row, right? It's where your emotions were maybe out of balance or out of whack because you were dealing with some toxic people or toxic situations, or because past memories were putting you in a position where you were reliving those toxic situations and they were weighing heavily on you. And so now you're seeing things clearly and you found a sense of order. And that sense of order is giving you a sense of direction. And we do have romance, right? So this could be in regards to love, right? Taurus and Venus with romance coming out here. I'm going to leave this out because I do feel like for some of you it is in regards to romance. With the moon in Virgo, for others it could be in regards to where you work at, dealing with coworkers, dealing with even maybe small animals in your life or your daily routines, your health. And with Taurus, it's about love, who you're magnetizing to you, and the places that you go to experience luxury. These are all things that are balancing out for you. So, and this also feels like a sense between play, right? Play and pleasure, and work and discipline. So there's some, with the Libra here at the center, that's what this feels like, is balance between those two things. So a balance between work and play, because we all know all work and no play makes Jack a dull boy. That's what this feels like, right? Maybe you were all work and no play, or maybe you were all play and no work, and being too much on one side, right? This is about balancing the scales. Being too much on one side has created that offset where it was like, this just isn't working for me anymore. And so now that's something that's switching. We also have know your worth. And I feel like that's a really powerful energy to come in here, because you're now protecting your energy, but you're protecting yourself from those memories that were very overwhelming. You're protecting yourself from maybe toxic patterns that you yourself are exhibiting, right? We have to own our own role in our own lives. And sometimes we are afraid to do that because it means that we have to look at things that we might not like about ourselves. But I do feel like that's something that you're doing here, Pile 1, where you're learning about yourself and the role that you played for yourself in your own journey, and trusting that I can let go of these things. I don't have to hold on to this hurt. I don't have to hold on to this pain. I don't have to hold on to this resentment. I can finally let go and be at peace with myself. And then we have 6 with lay a solid foundation coming over here, being over the 6th house, right? So we have 66, and this is all about balance, resolution, harmony, seeing yourself through eyes of unconditional love. So this is a huge resolution to the next stint in your journey. But also, again, beavers work. They work really hard to build their dams and their dens. And I feel like that's, again, right? Like, so your work and your knowing your worth is allowing yourself to rest, allowing yourself to experience that pleasure in the moment. And then, yes, the Fool energy here with Grasshopper Spirit. Take a leap of faith, right? That's exactly what you're doing. You're trusting in this next step. You're trusting in your intuition. You're allowing your heart to lead you instead of your logic. And I feel like your logic was keeping you down and in this very dark place because you were maybe blaming yourself for not being where you felt like you should have, or not having what you felt like you should have, or comparing yourself to other people, or whatever it was. There's like that is no longer what you're focusing on. Now you're focusing on what brings you joy with the Mermaid of Lemuria. What your heart wants matters, and your joy is leading you to on the right path, right? As long as you're happy, you're on the right path. And that's something that's becoming very profound for you. So if you're really excited about what you're doing now, that is a very, very good indication that you are doing exactly what is necessary for your path of highest good. Whether that is what success looks like to the world outside does not matter, and nor will it ever matter, Pile 1. The only thing that matters is how it feels for you, and that's the only thing that will ever matter, is how it feels for you. On the bottom of the deck, look at this, we have Hod with Tell the Truth. And this goes back as a confirmation to what I was saying about us taking accountability for the role that we played in our own lives. It is so easy for us to stay focused on the role that everybody out there has played in our lives, but this journey is all about self-awareness and being aware of our own actions, our own lies, our own thought patterns, our own toxic tendencies, our own belief patterns that are limiting and small. And sometimes that is the hardest part of the self-awareness journey, because now we're putting the magnifying glass on ourselves instead of pulling apart everyone out there, which is easy, right? It's easy to do that because we're not looking at ourselves. We don't have to say, oh my gosh, like I was terrible to myself when I stayed in this relationship long past when I knew I shouldn't have, or I was really unkind to myself when I kept beating myself up for not having something perfect every time it came out, or I was really down on myself when I lost 5 pounds and I was trying to make gains while I was weightlifting, or, you know, whatever the situation is. These are just examples, but telling the truth has been something that's been revealing for you, and I feel like that's also what's brought back this sense of self-worth, because you're proving not only to your inner child but also to your spirit that your willing is the human that you are right now, the consciousness, right, to make hard decisions that align with your best self, that align with your highest good. And those are not necessarily easy. They're simple, but that doesn't make them easy. But choosing those simple movements has reminded your inner self, your inner child, and your higher self that it's okay for us to trust what it is that we're creating, where we're going, what we want to manifest, who we want to manifest, what types of connections, whatever it is. But I have to first be honest with myself so that I can make way and space for those to come in. All right. What is coming next after this sudden redirection? A time to rest. With take time to breathe out, this feels like a time to rest with the disseminating moon. Yeah, it's just this moment where it's like, okay, I've gone through this completion, this cycle, this process, and now I can just take a moment to really observe what's going on, right? That moment of taking space. That's it. Just existing. That's what this feels like. Just existing. You don't need to do anything. You don't need to force anything. Simply exist and receive. Okay? Yeah, meditate and contemplate. So new moon in Pisces. So didn't I say that earlier? You could have a moon in Pisces, and we have the new moon coming out with Pisces here. So some of you may have moon in Pisces, but I feel like this is the other thing with contemplation, right? It's easy to contemplate others, but meditation asks us to contemplate self and to understand ourselves. And metacognition may be something that's coming up as well here, where it's like thinking about thinking. What are the thoughts that have been playing out in your head? What have you been telling yourself? And I feel like those are things that you're telling yourself the truth about. You know, oh, I beat myself up when I don't wake up for my alarm. You know, if I have to skip breakfast, I'm telling myself all kinds of nasty things. Like, this is why we gain weight. This is why we lose weight. This is why we're not healthy, right? Or I am late for work 5 times a month, and I'm blaming myself, and I'm being cruel to myself because this is why I got written up, and how could I do this to myself? Like, these are things you're being honest with yourself about and letting go. Not letting them run the show anymore, but rather choosing different actions. So if you've been waking up late, instead of staying up late watching Netflix, now you're setting a timer on your TV, and when it turns off, you put yourself to bed, right? Like, there's just certain things that you're choosing action-wise that are making a huge difference for you on the journey. There's a little bunny outside. Yay, that's all about the cycles. He just stopped and turned and looked at me. He's sitting there right there across from me under my neighbor's RV looking at me. Yeah, so I feel like cycles are ending because that's what, for me, rabbits represent cycles. Now he's right outside my window. I know he hears me because he keeps moving his ears around because I have my window open. Yeah, so I feel like you're hearing your own cycles. That's it. Thank you, source. Yeah, there goes the bunny. He goes, you're hearing your own cycles. Yeah, Green Man synergy. This is like synergistic energy is things that work in tandem with one another, and that's how we all flourish, right? So the bees and the flowers, us and the trees, right? These are all things, and everything has this community of energy working together in order for us all to flourish. And I feel like that's something that's happening now where you're realizing like, I also contribute to the synergistic energy. And if I'm out of balance, it means that everything around me is out of balance as well. And so that sudden redirection is actually creating a great imbalance in your life, or it has created a great imbalance in your life in order to bring you back into a synergistic state where you are now symbiotic with the elements and the space around you, right? Instead of being caustic to it. And I don't know if I said that in yours or if I said that at the beginning of the reading in the collective message, but sometimes we're brought into a very caustic situation in order for us to balance out. Let's get an archangel message for you today in regards to this reading. What's next after the sudden redirection? Yeah, I love this. The way forward is open. You are not trapped. Possibilities and opportunities abound. I will guide you to personal and spiritual freedom. Yeah, so look, and coming to joy. Look at this. How synchronistic. We got the Mermaid of Lemuria with joy. And look, you are here and we're leading you to your joy, your happiness. And that's where you're finding balance and freedom and manifestation for what's next on your journey. I'm not going to promise all your manifestations coming in at once, but I do feel like this is the road. This is the treasure map to your treasures. Okay. And that's what this really feels like. This is your road to success. And then we have don't give up on love. A relationship you cherish can be healed. Allow me to clear the way for forgiveness so that love can thrive again. And, you know, forgiveness is something that helps us let go of resentment. Resentment is actually one of the heaviest energetic energies that we can carry on us. It keeps us anchored. It keeps us in a space of limitations, and it keeps us in a just a low vibrational state of self. And it can aid in our depression and our feelings of worthlessness as well, because we're constantly replaying old memories over and over again, right? And with HUD, tell the truth, I feel like this is also hand in hand with that. If there's a relationship, someone you really, really love, right? Then remember that when you let go of resentment and open your heart to forgiveness, and forgiveness is just accepting that what happened is something that you cannot change. But if you can truly step into a state of forgiveness and accept that together you can move forward, as long as both parties are willing to put forth the effort, not one, you can't carry that burden by yourself. They have to be willing to put that effort in as well. But if both of you are willing to put in that effort, then good things can happen, right? And that's healing. But if you recognize that you're ready to step into forgiveness, and whomever this is, that they're not ready to take that next step with you and they're not ready to put in the effort, remember that it's okay to choose yourself, and it's okay to put distance between you and this person, whether that's leaving or just spending a lot of time choosing yourself and focusing on self-love. So whatever that looks like for you, trusting your intuition at this time. But also this is saying for those of you that feel like, oh, my person's never going to come. Like, I don't even know who that is. I don't even know what love looks like. They're saying to keep an open heart here. Even if you've been hurt in the past, love is something that's on the table for you. Okay. All right, let's get an angel number for you. Can you please have an angel number for pile 1? Thank you. On the bottom, we have reassurance 747. Trust your intuition and make practical decisions that align with your higher purpose. Your guardian angels are acknowledging your efforts. This is a great 2 sentences that sum up everything that we've been talking about, right? So reassurance, they're just coming in to reassure them, reaffirm the message that's been coming through here. We're going to get one angel card out. On the bottom, we have Adriana with I'm leading you toward the answer to your prayers. Please listen to and follow the steps. I am communicating through your intuition, thoughts, and dreams. So right now, your intuition is skyrocketing, pile one. Like, you are coming into a very fortuitous time with your intuition. And so trusting your intuition is vital to your mission. It's vital to the next steps, okay? So we have Sun in Cancer with resourcefulness, learning the tools and keeping those tools at hand for you to grow and to expand yourself and to glow up, but also finding new resources. Like, this feels like you're adding to your tool belt something or a bunch of things very unique that are going to be able to speak directly to your intuition, but also that are going to help you trust your intuition moving forward. Like, oh, I can do this, but you're not going to feel like you're doing it alone. Okay. All right. Yeah. Grounding with tree. So this is important for you to ground, but I also love this image. This is the image that's on the box of this deck, but this tree really does talk about as below, so above, as within, so without. And that goes back to with Had again, that being honest with ourselves. If we're not honest about what's happening in our roots, in our system, where we're grounded in ourselves, in our soul, if we're not being honest with the part of ourselves that we can only hear in our heads, right, then we're not ever going to see a reality change out in front of us. We're always going to be replaying old stories because we're hiding away from ourselves. And so this is that confirmation that through grounding yourself in this moment and through looking at yourself, not with eyes of judgment, but with eyes of love, and truly honoring the role that you've played on this journey so far, you're going to start seeing new things blossom out in the physical realm. Letting go. 3, 2, 1, surrender and let go of control. Release resistance and trust in the flow of life, knowing that everything unfolds in divine timing and for your highest good. I love this. Letting go of something that was holding you back, the anchor. And part of that can very much be for many of you that resentment, that hurt, that pain that's been holding on for a long time, which is much easier said than done. But through practice, we learn to let go. Okay, and we have Omega, victory, your desires coming to fruition. Keep up the good work. What an exciting message. So this is a shift for you to walk into your abundance, into your prosperity, into your freedom even is coming through. So let's take a look at your card. I'm going to read this one from the book. We're going to see what it says. We have the new pearl. Oh my gosh. Not the pearl. The new pearl with the new chapter. You are now seeing your value, your worth. And this also makes me think of the this deck, because when Venus shows up, it's a pearl inside of an oyster. And so you got Venus in Taurus out here, and I feel like that's really telling, because it's showing you that you realize and recognize you are valuable, you matter, you are worthy, you are deserving, you're beautiful, you're handsome, you're smart, you're incredible, you're magnificent, like all these wonderful things now. And realizing that if you don't believe those and project that out into the realm, this physical realm, no one's going to reflect that back to you. I mean, there might be people who are really kind and compassionate like you are, but really, if we don't believe it ourselves, it's hard to stay in that energy, even if someone is noticing it within us, right? We are the reflection. We're the ones that have to lean into that reflection of ourselves. All right, so let's see what this says. This is, let's see, 64. All right, grit, irritation, and waiting. This is a long-awaited abundance. It says, take note if this card appears with the wise salt card. So if you pick another pile and the wise salt card comes out, there's an additional message here. And if not, that's okay. I just want to read that real quick. Or any of the other elements, other cards associated with the element of water, let them amplify the message of the new pearl. It says the pearl is made from only 1 grain of sand, 1 irritant. One moment to thank this irritant for being so consistently challenging, allowing the pearl to begin its formation. That's exactly what it comes from. The pearl is formed because the oysters are moving around the irritant, and their saliva builds up into this iridescent pearl. It's a fascinating process. But isn't it interesting that one tiny little thing has actually turned you into this absolutely beautiful jewel? Absolutely beautiful. It says the new pearl is one of the great promises of alchemy. From a single grain of sand, the pearl forms slowly but surely in the salty mouth of the oyster. The new pearl emerges as an alchemical miracle, a sight unimaginable at the outset. That said, the process is generated from irritation itself. Such is the medicine of the new pearl. The work is underway, but the gem is not yet formed. Don't become petty and hasty, seeking a return on your efforts. Rather, turn to patience, consistency, and humility to remedy the discomfort. Let the magic of time and salt water do its work. Relax, believe, and support a fellow alchemist in finding the grit that will become their pearl. Don't worry about you right now. The entire ocean is your ally. And when I think of the ocean here, I think about all your emotions, right? Our emotions are as deep as the ocean. And remembering that our emotions are going to lead us to our freedom if we allow them to. To go deeper, you can read The Pearl by John Steinbeck. And you can also ponder the pearl turning back into sand. Interesting, right? That's a really powerful energy. Really, really powerful. So this irritation has been with you for a long time, but there's something here where you're choosing to let it go. You're choosing to see it as something different. And that's why I keep feeling like vitality is coming back, because even though it's been hard for you, even though it's been a long journey already, there's some new way of you viewing what's in front of you and seeing it with hope, seeing it with a newfound sense of enlightenment. And moving forward towards what it is that you want to manifest. I love this for you. Absolutely so excited for you. So with that, we're going to give you an affirmation you can claim this reading with. You can leave the little oyster emoji down below. And let's breathe in today's affirmation of, I choose to let the irritation turn me into a beautiful gem. And if this reading spoke to your soul, please you can share your story in the comments and subscribe. You can support this journey and explore today's tools in the description box links. And I offer my deepest gratitude to your guides, your spirit messengers, your angel source, my guides for anchoring this energy for us today. And also pile one, until our paths cross again. Stay human. Bye. Welcome back, beautiful souls. I'm honored to be here sharing this human experience and walking on this evolutionary path with you today. Remember, if a trigger arises during this reading, do not force it to fit. And view that friction as a sacred blueprint for you to deepen your personal healing and growth. So pile 2, this is you. If you were drawn to this beautiful piece of red jasper. See if I can get that to focus a little better. Okay. Or if you felt called to this purple dice with the second house on it. Or perhaps during the shuffle you were called to this reading. We are getting into what is coming next after this sudden redirection. If you watched my last reading on divine timing and redirection, today we're talking about the next step on your evolutionary journey and looking at exactly what is coming next. If you haven't seen that, you'll find the link for that in the description box, okay? So let's go ahead and begin. The way this is going to work is we are going to do the dice reading, then we're going to get tarot, and then we are going to get advice and further messages with the oracle. So what is coming next after this sudden redirection for pile 2? What is coming next after this sudden redirection for pile number 2? Whoa, the sun card. The sun dice. I don't know if you can see it right here. Wanting to be seen. So I do feel like this is a bright new day. This is a bright new beginning. But I also feel like this is you stepping into a position of leadership where maybe you didn't want leadership, or maybe you didn't know if you were capable of that leadership. It was something that was kind of scary for you, or something that you were holding on to an old way of being, and that was keeping you small, or it was keeping you in some sort of limiting belief in your life or limiting thought process in your life, and now you're letting that go and stepping into this bright new day, into this bright new beginning, but also being a bright light to the world around you. So you could definitely identify with being a light worker, a starseed, earth angel energy is coming through. But I feel like it's been something you've been waiting for a long time, but maybe not necessarily asking for the amount of leadership that might be coming in for you, but asking for that position where you can share this love, share this light, share this wisdom with others, share this truth that you know with others. And it's been really challenging for you along the way. Maybe there's been a lot of emotional, egoic people that you've dealt with. People who've been very arrogant. People who've been very distant. People who have just been trying to put you down or just have flat out told you that what you believe isn't real. And it's been really frustrating for you on this journey. But after this sudden redirect, I feel like you're letting those words affect you, or letting those energies affect you, and now you're standing firm and tall and strong, and realizing that there are people who want to hear the message that you have to give. They want to hear that. They want to absorb that. They want to know what it is that you think. And so with the sun wanting to be seen, that's what's coming through here. Okay, so we've got 11th house and Libra energy. Yeah, balancing out for the community here, being seen by a certain community. That's really something powerful coming in right away. Let me put these on my block so you can see them. I also feel like this is letting go of connecting with superficial souls, right? And that can be really challenging too on our journey, because maybe we've always been around people who've been superficial, supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. I don't know why that song's coming in here. Maybe you've been a Mary Poppins kind of character where you were taking care of people who didn't want to change, people who didn't want to see internal growth, people who were very childish by nature, and also projecting that childishness onto you. And I feel like now you're stepping into this energy after this redirection where you're realizing that this is not my tribe. These little small-minded individuals are not my tribe, and it's okay for me to seek other people out there. There's a whole planet full of people. There's got to be people who resonate with me, because I know there's people I resonate with, right? And that's what this feeling is. And so letting go of superficial people, people who are even trying to take your kindness as gullible, being gullible, or being weak, or being easy to manipulate. Like you're seeing that for what it is. And I feel like the sudden redirect is showing that to you. Like it really highlighted something for you along the way, and it's really making a sudden truth come through where you're realizing, I can't play around with this anymore. I can't make it seem less than what it is. And the internal decision to empower yourself became so profound that now you're really taking whatever this energy or these energies are very seriously. It's like maybe before you were saying, oh, they're not being intentional, or they're not being calculating. That's the word that's coming in. They're not being calculating at how they're approaching me. And some shift along the way said they are being calculating, and you had to take a step back and really recognize that they were being manipulative and calculating in their manipulative approach. And I feel like there's a part of you that felt guilty for ever wondering or thinking that they were calculating before, but now whatever part of you that was, the reality of the situation has taken away that hope, I guess. It's weird because there's like a false hope here where you were hoping that they were good underneath, right? And they are good and true. Like everybody's good and true underneath the facade, underneath the masks. But I feel like the false hope was that even though they were presenting this to you, that they were still good and they were trying to be good, but you're seeing now that whatever it was very calculating, and that redirection is bringing you into a place where you're just, I see you turning your back on whatever this is. Like they're reaching out to you and you're turning your back and walking away and just saying, enough is enough. I'm done. I'm going to go find my people. I'm going to go find my tribe. I'm going to go find my community. And that takes you on a journey, and that journey is going to be filled with a lot of different twists and turns, and not bad, not necessarily bad, right? Of course there's going to be challenges, but it's not going to be like what you were dealing with this group of people, or this situation, or this relationship, or this connection, whomever this may be, or whatever this may be. You're seeing it for what it is. You're seeing, like, if it was maybe it was a situation, you're seeing it for the scam that it was, right? The pyramid scheme that it was. You're seeing this person for the calculation that they're doing, like how they're always gaining information from you just so that they can use that against you later. Or if this was a job, you're recognizing that this job doesn't respect its employees, and that it's doing everything in its power to make the employees feel guilty so that they can get every last little drop of energy out of them, so that they can continue to fill their pockets, and they're not giving back, right? Like, whatever the situation is, there's a lot of different scenarios that are coming through here, but it does feel you're seeing it for, I don't want to say this word, but at the same time, it's what came through, the duplicitousness that it is bringing, okay? Because I feel like sometimes just calling people duplicitous, like, it's an energy. It is an energy, and some people definitely are in that energy, but that's this type of energy you didn't want to believe. I feel like why I don't want to say it is because you didn't want to believe that, but now you're seeing that. And by seeing that, it's letting you let go of an older version of yourself that accepted people who were like that. Right? Or that settled. Maybe you settled for people like that, and you're not settling anymore. And so you're opening up to a whole new world. A whole new world. This song has been coming out a lot lately. A new fantastic point of view. Letting yourself just experience a new way of life. So what's coming next after the sudden redirect pile 2? All right, bottom of the deck. Yes, I love this. We've got the Magician with Archangel Raziel here. With you can manifest the life you want. What you need will magically appear. Successful beginnings. You're using all the tools that you have. And I feel like whatever that was, whatever the situation was, part of you was hesitating to use the tools that you had learned in regards to the situation, person, place, or thing. Right? There's a hesitation there, and the redirect is telling you that no, this is exactly why you have this incredible bag of tools and resources, is for exact situations like this. And so there was a realization that came with it, and through that realization and opening up to all of those healing modalities and those abilities for you to choose the higher road for yourself. And through that, now you're carving a new path for yourself along the journey. Right? Yes, we have the Queen of Gabriel, which is the Queen of Wands. We'll look at this in just a second. Wow, we've got the Four of Gabriel with the Four of Wands. A lot of passion, a lot of fire. And the Ace of Michael, which is the Ace of Swords. So a lot of truth, right? A lot of truth. So I don't feel called to reading the descriptions right now for some reason, so I'm just going to focus on the energies that are coming through. But I do want to say with the Queen of Wands, she's talking about being passionate, charming, brilliant, independent. So this situation was making you feel dependent, or there was something here that's making you feel like you needed them, or they were trying to make you feel like you needed them, like you couldn't get anywhere without them. Of course, it's not true, and you see that, but maybe at some point you were having a hard time coming to terms with that. You were struggling to see that for what it is. And so now you are taking back your power and standing in your powerful self and being independent. And through that independence, there's another level of charm that is coming through you. And there's a lot of fiery energy here where it's like, I'm taking back my power whether you want me to or not. I'm becoming who I'm meant to be whether you want me to or not, because what you think doesn't matter anymore. right? Very Aquarius energy. You could have Aquarius in the 11th house, the 10th house coming in, a Sun Aquarius. You could have Aquarius in the 4th house, or Aquarius risings are coming through as well. And if not, that's okay, but you're embodying that same energy, which is powerful. Aquarians can teach us a lot about detaching from the world around us and how not to give two flying Fs about what's going on around us in the outside world, right? And that is powerful, because in society, we were raised to believe that we had to focus on how people saw us, or what they thought of us, or what they said about us. And then that was how we were supposed to act accordingly to whatever came through. And now what I'm feeling is a sense of letting go of this need to be manipulated by others, but also this need to be pressured by others, and regaining a sense of balance and stability after a time of misguided energy that was coming through, and a deep new truth and a deep new realization coming through, so that you can stand proud and tall and cutting old ties. This could have been with a spouse, an ex, this could have been with a family member, this could have been with a friend, this could be with boss, co-workers, a work situation, a life situation, whatever it is. There's a lot of different things coming through here, but it does feel like this is about you grounding yourself in this physical reality, in a powerful version of saying, the heck with you, I'm moving on and moving out. And, you know, if that's physically fine, if that's energetically, that's where it's at, right? And that's, you're not sacrificing yourself any longer. So Source, can you tell us what this means for pile number 2 to not sacrifice themselves any longer? What does it mean for them to not sacrifice themselves any longer? Like, what comes next? The 10 of coins. Wow. Abundance, just sheer abundance. And before I get one more card here, the other thing is that this is, with the 10 of coins, is showing that people are going to be, the people who were trying to put you down, or the situation trying to put you down here, is going to feel like your sudden abundance is unfair. And it's not. It's not unfair. It's not unwarranted. It's because you've worked incredibly hard at building yourself up, at building what you want, and grounding yourself in your emotional intelligence here. Bottom of the deck, yeah, we have the 9 of Swords, recognizing the red flags of the situation, choosing a new path, right? Seeing things for what they are. Look at these eyeballs on here, right? They look so wild, but that's the thing. It's like, it feels like really the focus here is seeing, not with even the third eye here. This is not about the third eye and intuition, because I feel like your intuition has been nudging you and giving you signs and synchronicities and signals and urges to do this or to go down this path. And there's a part of your physical, emotional ego that was just denying what your intuition was telling you. Like, no, they're not a bad person. No, they're not toxic. No, they're just hurt today. Or maybe excusing their behaviors or excusing the situation, whatever it was. And there's something here where there's something very physical that showed you a reality where you could no longer see this with rose-colored glasses or see this through the emotional ego. Like, even the emotional ego took a hit with this, right? And kind of got smacked in the mouth and said, look, I can't, what is this? I can't excuse this behavior. I can't. There's nothing I can say about this, because it hurt. It hurt me even. It hurt the emotional ego saying, it hurt me too. I can't excuse this anymore. I can't say, oh no, this is because, like, that hurt. I can't see this through blinders anymore, right? And I love that there's worms on this, which is showing it's very physical. It's from the earth, even though this is an air card connected to the mind. But it changed the thought process. It changed a belief that you had here, and it altered the way you actually physically think about what's standing in front of you. So whereas that false hope was there, it's no longer there. The false hope has been shattered, and now reality can be seen physically for you. The Ace of Cups. This is about your journey to self-realization with the Ace of Cups here. Not only self-realization, but the connection that you have with the divine. You know, I read the Tarot Marseille, and so the Tarot Marseille with the Ace of Cups talks about how we connect with divinity and how we build that beautiful relationship with God, with Source, the universe, with the cosmos, whatever you call it, but how we build that connection, and how that connection is what fills us up. and how we can rely on that connection no matter what. And so the altar here, where the altering of the belief has turned, is away from pouring into this person. And what's coming next is pouring into this connection with the divine and trusting the process, and a sudden influx of abundance in your life. Now, material abundance, it could be spiritual abundance, it could be emotional abundance, which we do see here with the Father of Cups or the King of Cups, emotional maturity, emotional intelligence. This could be spiritual, physical, emotional, or mental abundance as well, prosperity and perspective. These are all, or a mixture of all of them coming in, no longer seeing this as a difficult situation, but seeing it as, it's time for me to let go. It's time for me to free myself from this. It's time for me to use my little bag of tricks and move on like I've always done in the past. And now I'm even more experienced than you are. And you're not, even if you were holding on before, like there's no guilt or blame for letting go, where maybe there was guilt or blame for letting go of past situations that you knew you had to, right? There was guilt for wanting to let go at some point in regards to this, but when you were shown the truth here, when you were shown some sort of reality here, right? The shift, the divine timing, that sudden shift that happened, that sudden redirection, there was no denying that you had to choose yourself. You had to choose your connection with Source. You had to choose love and self-love in this situation. And what it means for you is sudden abundance, and however that comes through. I do feel like there's an energy of traveling here for some. Like, yeah, they're showing me a train, a plane, and a boat here. So an essence of traveling, not a car for some reason, but they're showing me like, so this could be long distance travel. You're moving to a completely different area, a different city, a different state, a different country even. This could be your need to basically get out of Dodge. Like if you're getting an intuitive nudge, like I need to leave wherever I'm at, and you've been called somewhere, this could be that confirmation that you've already received. We see sextile here, combination of tension and flow, potential in a rewarding situation. So I feel like that's where you're coming up into after this sudden redirection, is finally seeing your potential. And it's been tension, right? There's been a lot of tension here, but seeing your potential and getting rewarded for your hard work and for your persistence on the journey. Yeah, and fire, a lot of fire here. So Aries, Leo, Sag with confidence, optimism, passion, and bravery. This is taking a lot of bravery, a lot of forward motion here, a lot of protection, self-protection. I also feel like your heart was definitely invested in whatever this is, right? So it could be a job, it could be a person, it could be a belief, a lifestyle, it could be any of that. Like your heart was definitely invested in this, but realizing that it just wasn't serving you. And when that realization comes through, or when it came through, there is this feeling of just knowing that it's okay. It's okay. Like you're not holding on to it. You might grieve it a little bit, but I don't feel like you're grieving it like you've grieved things in the past. Like I just feel like you're in this state of just saying, okay, I'm ready. I'm ready to move on. I'm ready to let go. So yeah, we have Jupiter and Taurus with status. So this could be a boss that's coming in, but I also feel like this is just showing like suddenly you're going to get that leadership position. This is that confirmation that I feel like kings and queens here, right? That's what this feels like. So this feels like coming up into your empowered self and sharing that with the world, and the world respecting you as that place of leadership and attracting a lot of abundance to you, attracting a lot of security, a lot of foundational wealth, and a lot of foundational people as well. Like people just really truly reaching out to you for assistance, for help. This also feels like a balancing out of the masculine and the feminine energies, like finding that yin and yang that resides within all of us and letting that circulate out into the world in a very balanced state, in a very true state. A true state of self. That's what they're saying. A true state of self. All right. Let's see what else comes out for you, pile 2. What's coming next after this sudden redirect? Wow. Bring a gentle touch with dear spirit. So again, with this fiery energy, we don't want it to get so intense that it burns us, right? And that's what's happening here, is that you're calming the flames by channeling it into something that is conducive for your journey, but something that matters. There's something that you have a lot of passion for. There's something that you want to create. There's something that you would like to build. And you're not doing it in a very controlling way. You're showing up with this stillness. There's a stillness here and a trust and this gentle touch where everything you touch is turning into something positive. I'm not going to say is turning into gold, because that feels more masculine. This feels like everything that you touch is turning into something positive, something beautiful, something luxurious in a way, something that you love. Or rather, we could say it as now you're no longer handling things if you don't love them wholeheartedly. Like if you're only half in, you don't even bother with it. It's like, I'm not gonna subject myself to those half state relationships any longer, right? Yeah, and Sandpiper Spirit, be playful. A lot of healing of the sacral chakra here. Even though you chose the red Jasper, this feels like healing of the sacral chakra with being playful, right? Allowing fun and pleasure to come into your life. Luxury is connected with pleasure too. So maybe you were always wanting to go and get a massage once a month, and now you're finally letting yourself do that and not worrying about the cost, or not worrying about how everyone's going to take that if you go and do that, or finding things to do for fun in your area, right? You're doing this for yourself because you need this. You need this in order to connect in an emotional way to yourself and to your journey. And also it's one of those, like, if you're going to be up there helping others find balance with their own problems and their own self-love and worth, it's being an example to them as well, right? That's what this really feels like. You're really being this example. But also with all of this orange, you see all of this orange here, the orange on these cards, the orange here, the orange here. This is definitely tapping into sacral chakra energy. And your sacral chakra could be what is easing the flames that have been burning high in your solar plexus for a long time. Okay? Yeah, Avalon Priestess, intuitive awakening. This does, again, it feels like the truth, but that truth is what brought this intuitive awakening. Seeing something tangible helped you to reconnect with your intuitive self, to trust the inner voice. So I was saying, like, you weren't trusting what your intuition was giving you, the nudges, the direction it was giving you, the signs, the synchronicities. It's really hard for you to trust that those were realities. You know, it's like you don't want to believe that. You're saying like, oh, they're saying this person's taking advantage of you, and you're like, no, I think I'm just making that up in my mind, right? And it's just from all the past. It's been all the past betrayal. It's been everything I've been through in the past. I feel the energy, but I don't think it's them. I think it's everyone else. Your intuition's trying to tell you it's them, it's them, it's them, it's them. And you're like, no, 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 it's not. And so your intuition quiets down. And then finally something happens where you see that they are indeed in that energy with your physical eyes, right? They're manipulative. They're taking advantage. They're betraying you, whatever it is, right? Like you're seeing it with your physical eyes, and that forces that intuitive awakening. But again, it's not something super profound. It's not like rushing in and crushing you. It's just realizing like, oh, I could have trusted this voice all along if I just listened to it. And it's, again, it's not about beating yourself up. That's not what we're trying to say. Don't beat yourself up. And I know how easy that is to do. You know, I've been in situations like that as well. I had a situation where I was with a friend and they kept telling me, you know, she's jealous of you. She's jealous of you. And I had just gotten from being in a narcissistic relationship and everything like that. And I was sitting there and I was like, no, this is just my past energy. This is my past energy. And then suddenly she betrayed me, and it was something I couldn't run from. I just had to deal with when it happened, and it was really hard for me, and I really beat myself up. Why didn't I just listen to my intuition? I knew it was my intuition. Why didn't I just listen to it? And that doesn't help either. Like that shadowed me from my intuition as well. And so just accepting that at that time I wasn't ready to hear the messages that were coming. And sometimes we're not. Sometimes we're not ready to hear those messages, right? And that's okay. We just accept it and move on. And when we're ready, we're ready. A win-win outcome is forecast. Full moon in Libra. Yeah, so this is the balancing of the scales. Bringing a win to you. Something that was hard, something that was difficult, something that felt like you were putting in more effort than the other parties or situation involved. That's finding balance. And now there's the win that's coming. And when we say win-win, a win-win could be that this is just not in vibration with you, in resonance with you. And that's why you're leaving, and that's giving that situation a win too, so that they can open their doors to something that is more in vibration with them, right? That's okay. You don't have to worry about that anymore. Just focus on the fact that this is going to bring a good outcome for you. Yeah, the wake-up call, the tsunami, needing to find higher ground. And you think about this, when a tsunami comes, before it ever even gets close to the land, animals are already seeking higher ground. Right? Like animals have already, they felt it. They know something's happening. They know something's coming. That's intuitive. That's our instinct. Right? And so the wake up call had to do with our instinct here, with the intuition that was getting drowned out by the emotional ego saying it was wrong, it was wrong, it was wrong. And so the wake up call here, right? It was being drowned out by the emotions maybe, or it was being drowned out by past situations or past beliefs. It's being drowned out here with the moon here being in the sky. And now the wake-up call is trusting that I can trust this guidance that comes in, no matter how gentle or even how wild it may seem. When you trust it, you're able to move into a much more aligned state of yourself and move into being able to manifest different things. And also just letting go of those really heavy energies, right? Those are really heavy energies. And we're not looking at what's right and wrong, because there is no real right or wrong. There's only what's right or wrong for us. And so if an energy is wrong for us, we have to accept that and allow that to be okay. It's not us trying to control the situation and make them right for us, or make ourselves even right for them, right? Or whatever it is. It's us trusting that it's okay, that we can honor the things that don't vibrate with us or that are not in resonance with us and move on. And we don't have to make a big deal about it anymore. We can just accept it and move on. And that's where that softness comes from, right? It says, no, it is not time yet. This is not the divine right time to take action. Please be patient. The opportune moment is approaching. So I do feel like there's something here that you still have to move through in regards to this situation. And that's why it's not time yet for you to actually get out of the situation. So example would be is if this is a job, right? Like you don't want to just walk in tomorrow and say, we don't resonate, I quit, I'm out of here, bye, right? That's not what this is. So it would be like, maybe now is the time to start looking for other opportunities, right? The leadership that you're looking for other opportunities that match that vibration. If this is a relationship, what opportunities or what options are available to you? And weighing out those options and trusting your intuition now, right? Instead of just making some snap decision now that this has happened, now that the shift has happened. Don't make some snap decision. Let yourself see the options that are available and choose the one that feels in most resonance with your soul journey right now. That's why no, it's not time is yet. Time is coming out. Let's get an angel number for you. Okay, they want this one. Bottom shift. 565. Take a look at your life and see which areas need to be shifted to bring more joy. Take the time to reassess your priorities and create a plan for yourself. So shifting your energy, coming back into this place of truly choosing joy, what makes you happy, what your heart wants matters, and knowing that through this spiritual alignment, right, you can find balance, peace, harmony, resolution as you move through. And I feel like that's been a difficult journey for you, is finding balance, finding resolution, finding harmony. There's something here where it hasn't been harmonious, but I do feel like that's something that's shifting for you as well, as finding harmony in this situation or harmony within yourself. Maybe that's the main thing that you've been looking for, pile 2, is harmony, peace and harmony. And so this has to do with that. The next step, it has to help. It's about helping you come into a state where you're ready to receive that. Whether it comes right away or not, that's not the message here. Excuse me. It's about being in that energy of receiving. We have Daniel here with, I'm the angel of marriage and I am assisting you right now. So for some of you, this could be a relationship, a marriage, a spouse. This is something that's just not been working out for you, or you're feeling like there's some sort of betrayal that's come up, or there's some sort of situation that's arisen where you're just like, I can't go back on that. There's some deal breaker that happened, or you're recognizing that this is just, we're not working together, right? We're just not in the same journey anymore. And so Daniel's here to help you let go. They're here to help you to observe the situation from a place of love and what helps you come into a more aligned state for yourself. Okay? That's what it is. And whether that's walking away, whether that is initiating counseling, whether that is asking if we can work on this together, whatever that is, you have to trust your intuition right now. Aurora says you're flying high right now, which may threaten others, but don't descend, because others will soon become inspired by your example. Okay, so there's people here who may be threatened by you, but don't worry about those that are threatened by you. Focus instead on what it is that you want to create, where it is that you want to go, and visualize that for yourself, and know that that is going to be inspiring others, whether that's the people who are already in your life, or if that's the people who are meant to be in your life. You can trust that, okay? Wow. I've done so much work today. I'm a little bit tired right now. So I feel like you guys might be tired as well. Tired of dealing with this. Tired of going through this. And I feel like Source is saying, like, the light at the end of the tunnel is near. So we have Moon in Sagittarius with optimism. Yeah, stay optimistic. Things are working out for you, right? Things are coming together. And we have Moon energy again in Scorpio with power. Wow. Going through the gateway, right? Like, even with the mountains in the background, it still looks like a gateway here. So you're going through some sort of transformation that is taking you through a threshold. That's what this feels like. And it's coming from optimism, and it's also coming from a place of empowering yourself. Look at this. Wow, what a synchronicity. I love that this card came out. We have Kadesh with sexual wisdom, and I was talking about how this feels like sacral chakra healing, and we have this card coming out, and this card is all about healing our sacral chakra, reconnecting with our pleasure, reconnecting with our right to feel intimate, reconnecting with our right to have enjoyment and play, and realizing that whatever it is that makes us feel good, or whomever it is that makes us feel good, that's okay. We can embrace that, and we can explore that and understand that about ourselves, right? And that's something that's incredibly powerful for you here moving forward. We have expect powerful change with the new moon eclipse. So this is something that is absolutely changing for you, where you're going to feel more empowered, especially the divine feminine. I feel like many of you, if you're divine feminine here, you're going to feel like supercharged in your sexual prowess. And that's going to reverberate out into being an incredibly powerful woman around people and calling in more attraction from partners. And if you're a man here, you're going to be tapping into that divine feminine, where now you're going to bring a softer side of masculinity into the world. And that is also going to be incredibly seductive to a lot of people. And so it's something just to keep an eye out for when that happens, realizing that that's your sacral chakra coming into alignment and opening up, right? Opening the gate. Whale breach. I was saying I kept feeling travel here, and with whale breach, that's exactly what this card talks about. You know, there's this line in there where it says, this is more than just a coffee break. This is about getting out of your zip code, and this is about maybe taking a vacation in a new city, or going on a long distance travel or something like that. This is breaching the normal day-to-day routines and doing something new for yourself so that you can feel refreshed when you come back and reconnected. So I do feel like with this sudden redirection, suddenly you're going to find an opportunity to travel, and long distance, short distance, whatever it is, there is going to be an opportunity for many of you for travel. This came out in pile 1 too. The way forward is open. You're not trapped. Possibilities and opportunities abound. I will guide you to your personal and spiritual freedom. Yeah, so there is freedom coming for you along the way as well, right? You are here going to your joy, finding happiness again, finding connection with yourself. And I feel like part of your redirection is truly embracing a newfound sense of self-love, security. Work hard and stay disciplined to unlock a happy, wealthy, and successful life. Your guardian angels are here to help. So you're coming into a place of security with 646. Excuse me. Isn't that interesting? You got 646 and 565. So a lot of synchronicities for you. But we do have that shift into a secure place, a secure pattern in your life, a secure shift, a secure change, a secure job. This could be a secure leadership position. This could be a secure wealth coming in your life, whatever it is, right? Secure love, anything like that. There's just a sense of security that's coming for you. So let's take a look at this card. I'm going to read this from the book. We're going to see what it says. We have the Drowned King. Wow. So I do feel like this is something where your emotions were absolutely getting the best of you before, and that's the redirection, was coming into this empowered state of emotional maturity. And it's not that you haven't been building that before, pile 2. What it's saying is that now you're stepping into a new era for yourself. There's always going to be different levels that we go through on our awakening journey. There is no just one awakening and we're done, right? There's levels, there's stages, there's different variants of that awakening. And the same is true with emotional intelligence. There's levels and there's different stages and variants that we go through. And I feel like this is something that was very deeply ingrained within you. I mean, again, with the Drowned King, it was just very overwhelming, but you're rising above that and coming to terms with that emotion and coming to terms with whatever that was bringing into your life. Chaos, whether it was bringing confusion, whether it was bringing upset, whether it was bringing disconnect, whatever it was here. Okay, so this says, yeah, ego collapse, right? Losing face and humility. It says water is the main mechanism for the dissolution of the ego. Although the king may kick and scream all the while, eventually their new mantra will be go with the flow. The Drowned King prevents tyranny and redistributes power. We all must experience this energy from time to time to stay balanced. Wear it like a badge of honor. Right? And we all go through that want for control, the want for everybody to think the way we do, the want for everybody to come to our side, if you will. You know, don't go to the dark side, come to the light side, right? Whatever it is. And so I feel like that's just something that we go through, and it teaches us that humility. It says in alchemy, the archetype of the king is often used as a symbol for the ego, the aspect of the self that is attached to its title, name, and identity. It is said that the Drowned King is a required phase in the process of transformation. Only through dissolving who they thought they were is the king able to become who they are destined to be, a kind and benevolent leader. How does the drowning occur? Not voluntarily, that's for certain. Through circumstances beyond their control, the king is brought to their bottom, to their knees. When this card appears, expect a huge blow to the ego, impactful enough that it causes one to turn their life around, prioritizing grace over greed, benevolence over brutality, sovereignty over selfishness. The Drowned King eventually resurfaces as a fully changed, benevolent being. To go deeper, you can watch the movie The King from 2018 and to ponder the power of benevolence. So, yeah, this is a drowning of the emotional ego, some sort of identity here. And I feel like that was just not trusting in your intuition. The ego was loud. It was very loud, but something through that, again, that feeling that I was getting where there was something that happened where your ego couldn't deny it any longer. The ego was just like, okay, I can't make up for their actions. Like, I can't excuse their actions. Now there's no excuse big enough that's gonna make that okay, because it hurt the ego. Whatever this happened in your life, this redirection, it hurt the ego, and the ego had to just back up and say, okay, I guess I don't know what's going on here, right? And it wanted to hold on to that old belief, but there was no longer a way for it to do so. So what a powerful reading for you today, pile number 2. This is what I see for you. Let's go ahead and breathe in today's affirmation. If this resonated with you, leave a crown below. And your affirmation is, I allow the transformation of my ego into spirit and allow my true self to express itself in loving, compassionate leadership. And if this reading spoke to your soul, please like. You can share your story in the comments and subscribe. You can support our journey and explore today's tools in the description box links. And I offer my deepest gratitude to your guides, your spirit messengers, your angel source, and my spirit guides for anchoring this energy in for us today. So with that being said, until our paths cross again, pile number 2, stay human. Bye. Welcome back, beautiful souls. I'm honored to share this human experience and walk this evolutionary path with you today. Remember, if a trigger arises during this reading, do not force it to fit, and view that friction as a sacred blueprint for your personal healing and growth. Now, we are doing what is coming next after this sudden redirection. If you watched my last reading on divine timing and redirection, today we are taking the next step on your evolutionary journey to look at exactly what is coming next. If you didn't catch it, you'll find the link for it in the description below. So pile 3, if you were drawn to this beautiful pink rhodochrosite, or perhaps you felt called to this green dice with Mercury on it, or in the shuffle, you might have felt called to this card. This is going to be that reading. So let's go ahead and hop to it. How this is working is we're going to do the dice first. We'll get the tarot, and then we'll get further advice and information with the oracle. Okay? So what is coming next after this sudden redirection for pile 3, source? What is coming next after this sudden redirection for pile number 3? Okay, so we have 4th house. Wow. Powerful energy. 4th house, Capricorn, and the sun. This feels like something in your roots, right? Where you grew up at, or ancestral lineage, your bloodline, your generational curses. Something is finally finding consistent expression is what I'm hearing with this. Let me see if I can get that to focus a little better. It's just a tad shadowy outside right now, so cloudy, shadowy, I don't know. We're just going to go with it. Yeah, it feels like right now there's something that has to do with, or there's been a codependent situation that's been running rampant in your life, and there's finally this breaking apart. With Capricorn energy, it feels like a break, like a sudden disconnection or a sudden like ending. Right, that tough love. Saturn is really rough energy, and Capricorn can display that rough energy at any one given time. Like sometimes they're very serious, they're very logical, their approach is very cut and dry to the world around us, and that's such a powerful place to come from, because they approach problems with the logic of tackling it head on. And so that's what this feels like. Why there's a break there is because there's something here that you're tackling head on. There's something that you're no longer running away from, and that redirection is bringing a sense of consistency either to your healing or to your expression. So this could be a gift that was hiding in the codependent relationship, was keeping you from connecting with this gift that you have, or this could be an expression of art. This could be an expression of something creative. This could be an expression of being able to be constant and consistent in your life, with your health, with your finances, with whatever it is that you feel like you have faltered on. There's a break in regards to that codependent relationship and it taking over huge amounts of space in your life. You're saying no more, enough is enough. And so now you're feeling a lot more connected to yourself and have a lot more energy and a lot more ability and capacity to focus on the things that truly matter for you. And I feel like that's come from discipline. It's not that you gave up on your discipline. I do feel like many of you were continuing with your discipline through this process. But I also feel like there are things that maybe had fallen by the wayside, like things that didn't seem as much of a priority as others. So example would be like journaling and your physical health. Maybe instead of journaling, you chose your physical health over your mental and emotional health, because at least if I can work it out physically, then I feel better. But now you're realizing like how much that they mean working in tandem with one another. And so you're no longer saying one or the other, you're saying they both are equally important. And it doesn't have to be your physical health and your mental emotional health. Like this could be anything, right? This could be creation, this could be your learning, this could be you building something, this could be your work, even like projects at work. So, but it's just saying that now whatever you put on the back burner, you're moving it forward and saying this is just as important as everything else, and I'm tired of putting this on hold because of codependent relationship, or because of someone being, this feels like someone being the victim. That's what this feels like. Someone's always playing the victim and expecting you to pick them up emotionally. So there's some sort of, that's why like Capricorn energy is here, right? Seeing things from logic instead of emotion. So rather than being manipulated into caring for this person when they're emotionally in victim mode, you're being, maybe you've been gray rocking them, or maybe you've just been walking away entirely, or you're telling them enough is enough, I don't need to hear it, nothing I say helps anyway. So you're finding this balance in setting a very firm boundary. There's a very firm boundary here, and that's the break. That's what's breaking this connection. So if you figure like this is a tie, right? I don't have anything here. Here, let's show an example here with one of my necklaces, right? So like this is the tie with them, and you saying no, enough is enough is literally you breaking that. It's breaking it apart. And so now there's no more connection there. And this, it's odd because I feel like you thought they were going to kick and scream more than they did, but they're not. And I feel like that's also surprising to you. Because they were so dependent on you, or they were making it seem like they needed you for this. And they didn't. They were just using you as another means to gain energy, like an energetic vampire. And there could have been a hurt. Like that could have hurt that they didn't actually make a bigger fuss about you leaving. Right? That hurts. I know how that feels too. Like I've dealt with a lot of clients who've gone through that. I've gone through that personally, where you put so much energy and effort into a person, and when you have to leave because the situation is just too toxic, or it's just, you know, one-sided, and this person says, oh, I love you, I care about you, I need you, I have to have you in my life, and then you leave, and then they just act like, oh, okay. That hurts, right? That leaves a lot of pain, because it's like, what the heck? Why was I so invested and you just weren't? And so I feel like that realization, that's also another thing that's keeping you focused, or maybe not focused, but inspired on moving forward or away from this situation, whatever it is. Yeah, there's a lot of truth here. Brilliant, self-reliant, insightful, humorous, being cold too. Right? There's a lot of, this could be a friend coming in. Says you know exactly what to do, the benefit of experience, a time for career rather than relationships. Yeah, so focusing on what you want, what matters to you. It says it will all be better if you just make a decision. Overanalyzing a problem, find a compromise. Yeah, so you spent a lot of time peeling this apart in your head, like picking at it, worrying about it. And now you're finally making a decision, choosing to move forward. Wow, we have the 10 of Ariel, which is the 10 of coins. It says there's much to be grateful for, financial success, and the promise of retirement, a rich and rewarding family life. So riches are coming, right? Yes, it can absolutely be monetary gain and all of that, but I feel like riches in the sense of blessings are coming. So connection with people who are more aligned with you. Maybe this has been a family, right? Family member, and this is now building a family of your own, like going off and going down the path to truly building a stable family for yourself. Choosing people who are no longer in resonance with that old self. So if you were finding relationships that were playing out old toxic patterns or old traumas from your past, that's something that you're leaving and walking away from after having cut ties with this codependent relationship or this codependent situation. The sun Everything is coming to light here, right? Life is wonderful. Thrive through the power of positive thinking. An inspiring success with Archangel Uriel. And it's interesting because Archangel Uriel, the symbol for Archangel Uriel is actually the pentacle. And, or if you want, but they say the pentagram, but it is the pentacle. It's the earth energy, right? And he is associated with the direction south. And that's just really telling here because it's this, I'm sorry, the direction north. It's just saying that you're moving up and out. You're moving up and out of a situation. You're no longer holding on to something. And I feel like Archangel Michael coming in as well, because Archangel Michael is associated with south, right? So you have Raphael is west, Archangel Michael is south, Archangel Gabriel is west, and Uriel is north. And then you have Sandalphon, which is the earth, and Metatron, which is the sun. Okay, so these are the associations, but you have north and south energies here. So it's like cutting ties with something that is bringing you down so that you can free yourself and fly again. And so now you're going to be flying high and feeling good. And that's what I was saying. There's a lot of vitality here for the sun to come out. A lot more energy is coming back into your life, and a lot more focus on things that matter. So whether that's your job, as it states here with the Queen of Swords, this could be your creative ventures, your projects, the things that you want to see come to fruition, something you're building. You're really focused on that right now. Like that's where it's at. And while love is definitely on the table for you, it's not as important as this, whatever this is that you're focused on. Okay. So it's like, while it's there, I feel like love is going to come to you, especially pile 3, when you're not looking and when you're not expecting it. It doesn't mean you not to put yourself out there. I feel like it's important to put yourself out there, you know, learn to flirt, learn to have a good time, learn to be a good company when you go out, learn to enjoy good company from other people, see who you vibe with, see who you don't vibe with. Those are all, that's all valuable information for you for when the right person does come to you. So I do feel like this is about putting yourself out there, but it's a slow process, right? And I feel like with the tower, the Eiffel Tower, I'm going to get there, guys. With the Eiffel Tower here in the background, it just feels like the city of romance. Like there's something here that's going to come in and romance you. And I feel like that could be work even. It doesn't have to be a person, but there's something here about romanticizing your life. There's this feeling of truly just enjoying the small things, making them feel super luxurious. So if you go to one of your favorite coffee shops to get your favorite cup of coffee, instead of rushing on to the next thing, you know, take a half an hour and sit there and truly enjoy drinking this cup of coffee. You know, sit in the cafe, watch the people walk by, maybe take some headphones and listen to your favorite songs or your favorite podcasts or whatever, or go sit outside on the porch if it's warm enough, you know, and watch whatever nature's there. Just watch the world around you. It's just feeling like romanticizing what's around you in this moment, enjoying it in the moment, and no longer worrying about like what this person's doing or what's going on with this old situation. And so what's happening after this redirection is this really coming into cutting people off cold in a very, what might feel or seem like a vicious way, but it's not. It's just because who's got time for that, right? I don't got time for that. And that's the thing. And so you're moving on from that and truly choosing yourself instead of putting things on the back burner like you had been in regards to this situation. Again, it feels very codependent by nature. And now that codependency is no longer going to be something you're going to invite into your life. You're going to notice it when it pops up. You're going to be able to pivot whenever that comes into your life. Yeah, the Chariot coming out here. So we're going to get a little bit more in this. I feel like this is something spiritual for you. This is this victory, but this feels like a spiritual victory, something that you wondered if you were ever going to be able to truly heal from. So a wound or a situation or a person, like you ever wondered if you were ever truly going to be able to let them go. And that's why this feels like such a victory, such a win, like a championship even. You won first place because you were able to truly let it go, to cut the ties with it, right? What else for pile 3? What's next after this sudden redirection? Wow, this card was acting all hinky. All right, what's next after this sudden redirection for pile number 3? Thank you. Bottom of the deck, we have, yeah, the Lovers. Wow. So definitely could be in regards to romance, love. So this could be an ex. And you could have let this person go a long time ago, but their memories could have always been coming up or holding you back or making you feel like you're never going to find true love again. And finally, you've moved on from that. It could be an old trauma, an old family wound that was actually creating these types of connections in your life. And you're finally seeing that for what it is and letting that go as well. And really, truly pouring into what's next for you. And with the Lovers, it's all about a decision that we make as well. Like there's options available for you. And I feel like you're making an option that really is leading you to a path of honor and glory instead of lust and instant gratification. And that's what this really feels like. I also love that the geese are on the Lovers card here. And I've mentioned this before, but geese will never leave one of their own behind. So if a goose gets injured while the flock is flying south or north, right? If a goose gets injured, there will always be 1 or 2, even 3 that will stay behind with the injured one. And if that injured one can never leave that area where it got injured at, that's fine. Those ones that stayed behind, they stay with it for life. That's just how they are. They just never leave. No goose left behind, right? And it's such a powerful energy because I feel like that's exactly what's happening here, is that you're stepping into a time in your life where either there's a love that comes in where they'll never leave you behind. Like they always give you space. They know when you're going through trauma. They know when you're going through healing. They know when you're going through those moments of difficulty. They also celebrate the good times with you, whatever it is. Or these are friends that are going to be able to do that with you. And it's going to be something that really empowers you and helps you see that you were always deserving of having balanced relationships in your life, which I feel like is something that's maybe even right now hard to imagine, pile 3, because it's not something that you have actually truthfully experienced, or you're at the very beginning of experiencing this with someone. And it's hard to imagine what that's like long term. Like, when's it going to turn? When is it going to go codependent? When are they going to show their true colors? Like, these questions might keep popping up. And I feel like with the Chariot here, Source is reminding you that this is something that was ordained on your journey, and now you're moving into a new chapter on your spiritual journey, so that you can see that not everybody is in that same energy that you've dealt with in the past. In fact, it's not as common as it might seem. Even if it was people that you were constantly attracting to you, you could have 100 people that you've experienced in your life that you attracted to you that were in that same type of energy. But once you leave those people that were surrounding you, you're going to recognize that there are a lot more people who are more open-minded out in the world. The world is a very large place. But sometimes our personal world isn't so large. And so it feels like the whole world is going to act like all we've ever known. But letting that go can be so empowering and freeing. And I feel like that's exactly what's happening here. Yeah, the Death card. Which in the Tarot Marseille, this is known as the Nameless or the 13. But this is the transformation. This is a very powerful transformation for you. What's dead is gone. And you're leaving it in that place, wherever it ended. You're not trying to pick it back up. You picked it up too many times. You've polished it off too many times. And no matter how you polished it, the rust never came off. It never turned into something beautiful. It got even worse. It got dirtier. Even when you're rubbing the dirt off, it was rubbing it all in. It's like no matter how much you tried to care for these past relationships or this past situationship, it just kept falling apart. And that can be so disheartening because you're putting so much effort and so much love and yourself. You've poured yourself into another person, and that hell, I don't try to curse on these readings, but that's what's coming through. That hell in and of itself is where we begin to not recognize ourselves, and we don't see who we are anymore, and we've lost sight of what we want in life, and suddenly our entire world becomes revolved around this up and down, or this roller coaster ride that this person or these people are taking us on. And that's what's changing here. It's like letting go of the past. And in the original Tarot Marseille card, it shows the kings and queens down here on the bottom of the card, and he has a scythe, and he's swinging the scythe over their heads. And it's like literally cutting it off at the head, if you will. Everybody before you in your ancestral lineage had an opportunity to heal this. Whether they were aware of it or not, they all had opportunities to heal this. But the truth is that you're the one that's cutting it off at the head now, and you're healing it. This is no longer going to be something that's passed on, and you yourself are no longer going to invite this in. It doesn't mean that you're not going to have to deal with it face to face, right? Just like if you've dealt with narcissists in the past, like there's so many people out there in the world. We're going to run into other narcissists, even if we've healed from narcissists. But the difference is that now we recognize the signs. Now we have the tools to walk away. Now we have the ability to choose ourselves instead of falling into them when they love bomb us or when they try to drag us in and to bait and hook us, right? Like we understand that now. Yeah, and then we have the Four of Cups. This is emotional stability. So with that emotional stability, you're finding your freedom from the trash that was in your life before. And I say trash because that's what it feels like. It just feels dirty. It feels yucky. It feels gross. And it's like, you know, that idea of one man's trash is another man's treasure. And at some point you felt like this was treasure. Like you felt like it was something worth treasuring. You felt like it was something worth valuing. But this sudden redirect has shown you that it's not worth treasuring. It's not worth trying to make it look like something it's not. It's the only thing, and the only way out is honesty with yourself and realizing that you have a right to let this go. You don't have to be burdened by this any longer. And that's why you're becoming super self-reliant. There's this independence that's coming in. Also, I just feel like you're seeing it, and you're seeing it for the absurdity that it is. So you're laughing it off. You're just like, wow, this is a wild situation. It hurts, but it's like, through that hurt, you found some sort of humor. You're like bringing a light heart to it too. So that because I feel like if you saw it any other way, it would just be absolutely devastating. And you've already went through that devastation time and time again. And so your vitality and your life, your prana comes back to you by seeing it through eyes of love and saying, enough is enough. I'm just going to leave it wherever it landed. I'm not going to try and pick it up again. I'm not going to try and dust it off. I'm not going to try and polish it up. I'm going to leave it right there. I may take one last long look at it so that I can remember I survived that. And then you're going to turn around and you're going to walk away and you're going to be healed from it because you're choosing yourself in a period in time when you thought you could never do so. And that's why this is this is something very spiritual for you, because your spirit is finally coming through and it's overpowering the emotional ego that kept you going back to this situation. It's overpowering that desire, that want for it to be something that it was not. You might be here from one of the other piles, and this is just giving you additional messages. I'm not going to say which pile because, again, it's only if you were called to that pile. So, but let's get some more out. I feel like this could be someone who gave you a necklace, or this could, like, there's something about a necklace here that's really profound for someone or really meaningful to someone. Because, see, we have the horse here is wearing a necklace, and I use the necklace. I never do that. And that's so weird. I've never used my necklace as an analogy in one of my readings. That was the first time I ever pulled. In fact, I usually always wear this particular necklace. It's my amethyst. But right now I have a jade penguin on my neck. And so, you know, like, that's the thing. It's like I usually always wear this. And so it's odd. And I feel like with it being the amethyst, right, that's connected to our crown chakra. And so this is the message from Source. It's like maybe Source is helping you cut this as well. But also I feel like there's something here where there's, maybe that was, you were holding on to some trinket from your past. That could be it too. And you finally let it go. Like that was keeping you tied to this situation. Or there's some sort of trinket here that is meaningful or symbolic of the situation itself. And that's, you are being called to do something with it. Right? And that could be different for anybody, right? Maybe some of you are going to keep it. Maybe it's, I'm keeping it and putting it in a box. Maybe for some of you, it's creating some sort of soul-cutting contract with it and burying it in the earth and letting it go. Maybe for others of you, it's giving it to someone else and hoping it does good. Maybe for others of you still, it's trash. It's throwing it away, right? So there's something here symbolic. Maybe some trinket, some charm, some jewelry, some necklace, something like that. But if there was someone here that gave that to you and they were very toxic, like, you're letting that go finally. And I feel like it was really hard for you to let it go. Maybe you really like it, right? But it just holds so much energy. There's so much energy that it's hanging on to. Maybe that's it. Maybe you need to cut the energy from that trinket. If you want to keep the trinket, maybe there's something here where you cut the energy and do some sort of ritual with it. Wow, that's a really specific message. So we have Aquarius here, right? Originality, philanthropy, and progressive imaginings. Yeah. So being able to be your unique self and showing yourself to the world right now, and no longer fearing whether or not your people are going to find you. You're just trusting that your people are going to find you. Trusting that your love is going to find you if that's what you're looking for. Or if you don't believe love is in the cards for you, just trusting that there's going to be good people that come into your life and staying open to whatever happens. Right? Okay, wow. Thank you. I feel like you're just kind of at the end of your rope. It's odd. I think I said this at the beginning. I just feel like really exhausted. I did do a lot of work today. I will take accountability for that. I did do a lot of work, but not just, this is like mental exhaustion and spiritual exhaustion that I'm going through. And so I feel like you've been at the end of your rope for a while when it comes to this. Like, you just wondered, am I ever truly going to get over whatever this heartbreak was or whatever this situation was? And I feel like you're at that precipice now. That's the redirection, is taking you somewhere different. Yeah, so we have the moon in Aquarius. Aquarius energy. So you could have your moon in Aquarius. You could have your sun, your rising, or your Venus in Aquarius. Aquarius in the 11th house. You could have an Aquarius stellium is coming in, or you could have an air trine is coming in as well. But we have independence. So didn't I say that earlier? Like, independence was coming through, and here it's coming through as confirmation with the moon in Aquarius. You're becoming super independent of the situation. And even if this is an old situation, it can still mean that we have dependence on it, right? Like, codependence can still be there. Even if this person's been out of our lives for a long time, we can still be codependent to them. Can still like be reliving that situation over again, and we can be going through the motions and not letting it go. And so there's some sort of independence that you're claiming here for yourself. Yeah, canary spirit, sing your own song. And I feel like that's the other thing too. It's like, whatever, you know how we pick up habits from people? I remember I used to say back in high school, true story. Like, I was like, oh, true story. I used to say that all the time. I don't know where I got it from. I couldn't tell you who I picked it up from. But one day I just started saying it all the time. And no one said it. Like, here's the thing. No one said it. You'd be like, well, if you don't know where you picked up, I do know that no one said it in the school. But then all of a sudden, within like a week, everybody in the school is saying, oh, true story. Oh, true story. Like, everything was true story. We'd tell something, oh, true story. Like, everything was true story, right? And then I remember, like, I made up this word, and it was so funny. I was getting water out of my friend's fridge one day, and I dropped the glass, and it was a plastic glass. Thank goodness. It was a plastic glass. And I was trying to say, what the heck? And it came out, what the heckama? And my friend was like, heckama. And that became our thing. We would always say, what the heckama? And I went to school and I said it at school once. And then all of a sudden it was going around the school. And I was like, what is going on here? And I picked up things from my schoolmates and stuff like that. Like, I heard cool beans. I got that from my mom, I think, like cool beans. Or rad. I would say rad. My mom was from the rad generation. Oh, that's rad. And people are like, you say that? That's so old. And, you know, like, so we pick up things from other people. And so, you know, like, I picked up things from my ex and stuff like that. And so I think that's what this is saying here. I feel like what that's saying is that if you picked up habits or mannerisms or little quirks or something from your ex, like, you're letting those go one by one. And that's helping you to heal from this, or whoever this person is. Like, you're letting that go one by one. Okay, and so that's a really powerful with sing your own song. Like, it's allowing yourself to shine through instead of this person's energy where maybe they were so oppressive that you couldn't help. It was like you didn't have a say in the relationship, or you didn't have a say in the connection. It was always all about them, right? And so naturally, it would always be picking up things from them because you didn't have any voice in the situation. So we have Pele with light your own fire. Yeah, this is about you burning away the old so that you can be seen as the beautiful soul and the energy that you have to offer, whatever that is. It's unique to you. Yeah, Had, tell the truth. You could definitely come from another pile. And if you're here, this is just further confirmation. Different energies, though, a little bit different, but still powerful message. This is that being honest. I feel like this is just showing too, if you did pick up mannerisms from someone else, this is just telling the truth, realizing that's not mine. Why am I doing that, right? Or maybe not asking why you're doing that, but realizing like, that's not mine. I'm going to stop doing that now. I'm not going to, and then not beating yourself up if it comes up a couple more times or whatever, just acknowledging it and saying, I'm not doing that anymore. Right. And that's being honest with yourself. It's like letting go of that shadow aspect and integrating the lesson that you learned from this codependent relationship. Whoa. Yeah, we have Scorpio, new moon with work through your fears. I was going to say face your fears. So yeah, you're working through something here that was otherwise a frightening situation for you. I mean, not necessarily, it could have been frightening physically and stuff, but I feel like regardless of that, it's just something that, you know, like you didn't know if you were ever going to heal from it. Like this could have been something, like if this was an ex, right? Like this could have been something you felt like you're never going to fall in love again. You're never going to find someone again. That feeling that I was getting. And they're saying like love is in the cards, literally. Love is in the cards for you. Like it's something you're meant to experience in this life. And you're meant to experience someone who's like this with you. Someone who's a thick and thin, ride or die, you know, like this is someone who's going to be there with you through everything that you go through, and you're going to be there with them through everything, and they're going to celebrate you. But it's been about you working through your fears of attracting a toxic relationship back into your life, or attracting more codependent relationships back in your life. Trust, pile 3, that you have what you need. You have the knowledge, the discernment, the tools, the wisdom, and the experience to walk away from people who are trying to trap you in codependent relationships. Yeah, emotions are running high, supermoons. There's a lot of emotion in this right now. And I feel like right now, we've been going through a lot astrologically at the time of this reading. And, you know, Mercury retrograde was intense. Then we walked into the full moon. And then we're about to walk into a Lion's Gate right now. And so there's just all this energy that's floating around like wild. And so this could be bringing up a lot of harsh emotions for you, a lot of really deep emotions, a lot of needing to cry it out, a lot of needing to get the anger out, whatever it is here. But just remember, whatever emotions arise for you, that it's okay to walk through them, be present with them, and then let them go. Once you're done crying, just say, I'm really glad I was able to cry that out of my system. Thank you for helping me release that. You know, like just being grateful that you went through it and that you don't have to relive those situations anymore, but it's okay for you to also get rid of those emotions that are connected to it. And sometimes that's hard for us. You know, I feel like emotions are hard for most of us humans because we've been told by society, or we've become to believe that emotions make us weak. And it's that vulnerability is weakness, and it's not. Like, vulnerability is our greatest strength. And that's something that we embrace along the journey of self-awareness and reconnecting back to ourselves. We have stoned people to stay vigilant. So this is just a journey. That's what this feels like, vigilance. It's just a journey. Stay true to where you want to go and who you want to become, the goal that you're trying to create here. And know that that is going to bring a lot of abundance into your life. And I feel like for you, pile 3, it's more than just monetary abundance. This is an abundance of people. It really feels like you've been very much alone throughout your journey. And this redirection is bringing you to people who are going to lift you up, who are going to help inspire you, who are going to cheer you on and be a part of your life the way that you have and will be for them. Right? Have for other people who weren't that way for you, and the way that you will be for these new people who are going to be that for you. That's what this really feels like for you, pile 3. This is more than just abundance in money. This is abundance for people. Like, you've always wanted people, like a soul tribe, a soul family, or a really close-knit family, like people that we could tell everything to each other, and we're going to be there for each other no matter what. We're not going to judge each other for what we go through or anything like that. And I feel like that's what's coming for you. Yeah, DNA karma, right? The family. This really does feel like the ancestral line. You're clearing out ancestral generational karma and curses and whatever it is that's been keeping you from experiencing a more aligned version of yourself. And that's something that you're letting go of. But it's also your ancestors helping you walk through some really, really deep, triggering, harsh realities that you may have experienced in this lifetime. And coming to terms with them and finding acceptance, finding forgiveness, and finding freedom in that forgiveness and acceptance as well. And I know it hasn't been easy, but they're also keep saying here, it's like, you're not alone. You're not gonna be alone. Like, I keep feeling that energy. I keep hearing it. You're not alone. You're not gonna be alone. Like, I feel like I'm surrounded by a lot of people. So this could be your ancestors and your guides and everything, but this also, it feels like there's also physical people here with me right now. And so I'm seeing you building a soul tribe, people who connect with you in a very powerful way, and you connect with them in a very powerful way. And these are not people that you'll ever push away. Like, I mean, obviously, I guess we can always push people away, but the things that you were so afraid to share with the people in your past, or this person in your past, the things that you were so afraid to share because you knew it was going to push them away, right? Like, maybe it was about getting a tattoo that you wanted, or maybe it was about having a certain hairstyle. Maybe it was about wearing a certain type of clothing. Maybe it was about expressing yourself creatively and artistically. Maybe it was about singing your own song, right? Like, actually singing. Like, maybe it was about creating your own music. Like, anytime you felt like you wanted to bring this up to them, you knew that this was going to be a deal breaker for them. And so it's been increasingly hard for you to share these with other people because, oh my gosh, like, you're going to judge me. You're going to run away. You don't want me in your life anymore because of this. And these people are going to show you, like, no, these things make you amazing, and you're amazing even without those things. And, you know, we're going to still be here supporting you along the journey. Look at it. Yeah. Thank you so much, Source. Thank you. We have the 2 doves here, the 2 geese. Okay, someone new is coming. An important new relationship is on the horizon. Open your mind and heart so that happiness can enter your life. Yeah, so someone new is coming. Someone is here. This is someone in the physical world too. This is not just spiritual. I do feel like you're surrounded by an incredible spiritual team. Like, definitely feels like an incredible spiritual team. But for you, they want you to know that someone is coming in the physical, like the someone that you've been waiting for, the someone that you prayed for a long time. Maybe you just gave up. You're like, my prayer's never getting answered. Like, what's the point? And they're saying, no, it's coming. They're coming. They're coming. It's just taken a while for us to get here, right? Because it takes a long time for us humans to get anywhere on this spiritual journey because we expect everything to happen instantaneous. We live in an instantaneous world. Instant gratification. And now, you know, when things aren't happening as an instant gratification, we're wondering, like, what the heck is taking so long? Right? We have harmony. 121. Embrace harmony in your life. Seek balance between your physical, emotional, and spiritual well-being. So harmony, balance is coming in. Again, connecting with yourself on a very, very personal and intimate level. So confidence, 909, things are moving and you need to make a decision. Act with confidence and take risks. Don't be afraid to put yourself out there. Like, that's what this really feels like to me. It's this energy of not being afraid to go and discover what works and what doesn't work for you, and connecting with people along the way, and trusting that all of that is good information for you as you move on and eventually will be meeting the person that's meant for you. And I don't feel like pile 3. I just want to mention, this does not feel like someone from the past is coming back in. This doesn't feel like reconciliation to me. This feels like brand new energy coming in, okay? So take that as you will. Patience. Now's the time to learn, study, and gather information. What was I just saying? Like, dating is information for when that person comes in. Enjoy being a student because in the future you will synthesize your knowledge into action. That's, yeah. So this really feels like putting yourself out there and gathering information, like learning what this means to you. What does it mean to have people who act like this, people who show up like this, people who talk like this, people who flirt like this? Like, what does that mean? Is that something you enjoy? Is that something that you want? Is that how you want to show up too? Like, what does that mean? You're in a period right now. This redirection has brought you into a period of studying yourself as you show up for different situations and what it means for you in these situations. So we have yang energy, the action, proactivity, right? Expression, doing, and forward motion. Aries, Leo, Sag, Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius energy. So Aquarius has been really rampant throughout this entire reading. So you could have Aquarius highly aspect in your chart. You might not, but I do feel like some of you have Aquarius highly aspect in your chart, or maybe a ton of 11th house placements, or like really prominent Uranus placements as well. Yeah, Turkey spirit, give with gratitude and grace. Yeah, now it's just a time just to be grateful for the process, to grateful for the unwinding of things, grateful of letting go, right? Grateful for the past and grateful for the present. The present doesn't have to be the past any longer. And I feel like that's a really powerful message for you. We have Aries in Libra with choice. Yeah, you get to choose. Are you looking for something that's beautiful but isn't perfect, right? Like roses are absolutely beautiful, but they're not perfect because their thorns can hurt, right? They can hurt. They can leave. I got a thorn stuck in my finger one time for a few days and it was painful, right? Clove oil, if you ever wonder, clove oil. But I feel, and clove oil is talking about like numbing, right? Or we can numb ourselves with this energy here. And I feel like that's really powerful. It's like, are you going to numb yourself and feel trapped? Or are you going to embrace that there is no true such thing as perfection when it comes to relationships and connections? We're all human. We're going to show up and do human things. We're going to mess up. We're going to make mistakes. We're going to say things we regret. But what matters is if we give each other space to show up exactly as we are and we come from an honest heart. And if somebody else is showing up with honesty and integrity and honor, and you're showing up with honesty, integrity, and honor, like that's something that can become incredibly powerful and build into something that you never knew existed, right? But if you cut yourself off and blind yourself to the actual truth of what you want, you'll always be numbing yourself to the fact that you had a choice to build something beautiful and chose solitude or chose hermitude, right? You don't have to do that anymore. Look at this. And then we have the sun in Libra. A lot of air energy here, but we have harmony coming out again. We're trying to bring this balance in with relationships, harmonious relationships. That's what is happening after this redirection, is coming into a state of harmonious relationships. It's not saying that you're going to meet your person tomorrow. That's not what we're saying. We're not saying we're even going to meet them next week. It's going to be different for everybody, right? Is there going to be someone here who meets them tomorrow? That could be true. Is there going to be someone here who meets them not until next year? That could also be true. But instead of holding on to a time frame, opening up to, let me understand who I am when I take myself and put myself out there, whether that's with friendships or with relationships. Who am I when I'm not just falling into someone right away? Who am I when I build something based on trust, consistency, and honesty? What does that look like? Take control of your thoughts. Your thoughts are creating your reality. Have faith and stay focused on the outcome you truly desire. This is the key. The power of positivity, okay? Stay focused on what it is that you want. And there's a little heart in the key here. I don't know if you can see that. But I feel like with matters of the heart, you've always wanted love. You've always wanted connection. Like I felt that at the beginning of the reading. Like you've always been alone and you've always wanted someone in your life. You didn't want to be alone anymore. And I feel like, again, it's literally in the cards for you. No pun intended. It just really is. It's in the cards for you. It's in your journey. You're meant to have people on the journey with you. And that's something very beautiful. You're not meant to be alone anymore. Lonely, I feel like, is the main thing here. You're meant to have somebody who lifts you up and somebody who you're able to lift up as well. But keeping a positive mindset is so powerful for you right now, especially when it comes to love. I'm worthy and deserving of the love I'm asking for, and I can manifest that into this reality. It is already here. Celeste, a happy move to a new home or a place of employment is in the works. This move will usher in positive new energy. So again, positive energy, staying positive, staying upbeat is going to be really powerful for you right now, especially when it comes to things that maybe you've doubted in the past. So let's take a look at your card. I'm going to read this from the book. We're going to see what it says. So we have stantnum or tin. You know, and when I think of tin, I think of like foil. It's easy to ruin a straight sheet of foil, right? if you crunkle it, because that's a word, if you crinkle it, it will never be like it once was. It just won't, right? It will all forever be different and change, but it can still serve a powerful purpose. It can still do what you need it to do. And that's the thing. And I feel like with Jupiter here, it's just showing that there's luck here for you. There's something, and there's refracting this light, reflecting this light back. So there's something within you that's beginning to reflect out into this outer world. And it's bringing abundance for you. So we have malleable, expansive, and Jupiter. And it says in esoteric wisdom traditions, Jupiter and tin are associated with the liver. It's possible the liver may have a wise message to reveal, perhaps about excess and balance, right? And also stress can affect our liver too. Be like tin today. A good cry or wail needs to be heard. Let it happen. It'll release the pressure in the laboratory and you'll have a whole new perspective. It's so wild. I had a huge cry before I had this reading too. So I feel like that's just really synchronistic for you, because I was saying that earlier for you. Is that it's important for you to feel your emotions, right? That's not a weakness. Your emotions are not a weakness. They're your greatest strength if you let them be, instead of trying to run from them. And I feel like, again, I'm not trying to blame you. No one's here trying to blame you. What I'm saying is that we as humans have created this belief that our emotions are a terrible thing, and they're not. They're actually very beautiful. They're beautiful messengers. They're beautiful opportunities, if we allow them to be. So it says tin is a silvery white, highly malleable metal. This is in part because tin's structure is composed of crystals in cubic or tetragonal formations that can be broken or crushed under moderate pressure. When the crystalline structure breaks, and wow, what I was saying at the beginning, there feels like there's this break. And then we have when the crystalline structure breaks, a sound known as the tin cry can be heard, hence the unnerving sound of crinkling tinfoil. Such is the energy of the tin card. On one hand, it is in tin's Jupiterian nature to expand, to mobilize, to cover the whole territory. On the other hand, the metal cannot withstand much weight or pressure. When this card appears, you may have reached a limit or a breaking point after taking on more than is logistically possible under the circumstances. Don't take this juncture personally. More strength is required before taking the next steps to support the expansion you see in your mind's eye. To go deeper, look at Andy Warhol's 1966 installation, Silver Clouds, and to ponder reflection as illumination, what we see inside. Right? What do we see within ourselves? And I feel like that's really powerful, because in the beginning we talked about that, like there's a breaking point here. So there's something that's breaking, and with that break, maybe you haven't grieved. Maybe you haven't grieved from that. And so now this redirection is bringing you into a state where you can grieve in a safe environment with yourself. And that grief is going to relieve you of a burden that's been keeping you disconnected from others, because you're going to see something very powerful and beautiful about yourself and let that shine out into the world. Okay, so I'm really excited for you. Pile number 3. This is the message that I have here, but I do want to say, if you'd like to claim this reading, leave your favorite heart color down below in the comments. And let's take a moment to breathe in today's affirmation for you, which is, I allow the break from codependency to bring me into a state where I can feel my grief and finally surrender and let go to freedom. Okay? And if this reading spoke to your soul, please like, share your story in the comments, and subscribe. You can also support our journey and explore today's tools in the description box links. I want to offer my deepest gratitude to your guides, your spirit messengers, your angel source, my spirit guides, for anchoring in this energy for us today. And with that, pile 3, until our paths cross again, stay human. Bye.